have three excellent speakers with us today, and I would like to first of all introduce them to you. I will start with Stine VATNEBERG, Vice President, Facilities and Operations and Technology at EQUINOR. And she is from the division that is called Technology, Digital and Innovation Business Area. And Stine is passionate about innovation, focuses on how collaboration and technology can drive the transformation in the energy sector. So please welcome Stine on the stage. And then we have the distinctive pleasure to welcome MARTE INGUL, Deputy Minister at the Ministry of Digitalization and Public Administration. And MARTE joined the ministry from the job as an Executive Vice President for Public and Governmental Affairs at Media, and has been serving key roles in the Labour Party. So please, MARTE, welcome to the stage. Thank you. And last but not least, CÉCILE HUET, AI Office, European Commission. CÉCILE is the head of the unit Excellence in Artificial Intelligence and Robotics, part of the AI Office, European Commission, and under Horizon Europe, the unit launched the public-private partnership of AI, data, and robotics. Thank you, CÉCILE, to be with us here. Yes, and you have seen, so this is about innovation and scale-up. So we try to team it in the following way, as you can also read it here. It is from pilots to platform, scaling European robotics responsibly. This is the main theme for today. And I would like to start with a very short question, that who here has taken a robotics pilot into multi-site deployment? Anyone who has done that? I have one hand, two hands, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay. So not everyone. So then we have a room to fill. So that's very good. So thank you. And first of all, we will be listening to one video, because unfortunately, one of our speakers couldn't join us today, but delivered a video message to us. And that will be done by Lucy Scioli, from the director of the AI Office. Please listen to her words.
Good morning. It's a real pleasure to address you today at the European Robotics Forum 2026. Unfortunately, I cannot be with you in person this year because I have other commitments in Brussels, but I'm very glad to have the possibility to share a few messages with you through this video. Each year, this community brings together the very best of European excellence. There is researchers, innovators, industry leaders, policymakers, and they all have the same ambition, shape the future of robotics in Europe. And today, that ambition has been more important than ever. In fact, we are living through a profound technological shift. AI evolves rapidly. When it is combined with robotics, it unlocks new paradigms and new ideas, what we call increasingly physical AI. And it's not just another wave of digital innovation. It's really transforming how our economies function, how our industries produce, and how our societies operate. In manufacturing, healthcare, agriculture, logistics, AI-powered robots become essential tools to address our pressing challenges, from labor shortages to the need of increasing productivity, from sustainability to resilience. And at the same time, the global context is also changing very rapidly. Around the world, major economies are investing at scale in AI and robotics, not only as economic drivers, but as strategic assets. And technological leadership is increasingly linked to geopolitical influence, industrial strength, but also sovereignty. And Europe certainly cannot afford to stand still. The way we see robotics is that it is not only an industrial opportunity, but it is really a strategic necessity. It's about making sure that Europe is capable of producing, of innovating, of competing in its own terms. It's about reducing our critical dependencies and securing our technological future. But it is also about values. We want to ensure the systems we deploy are aligned with our principles, they're responsible, and this is the European way. And this is what differentiates us in the global race. I think we actually do start from a strong position. We have world-class research, we have a very skilled workforce, we have a rich ecosystem of innovators and industrial leaders, and in robotics, we have a long-standing excellence in engineering, precision manufacturing, system integration. But we must also recognize a weakness. Too often, we are excellent at developing technologies, but struggle to deploy the technology at scale. Innovation remains fragmented. The path from research to the market is still too slow. And this is the gap that we must address and we must close. And that's why the European Commission launched in November the Apply AI strategy. The strategy is not only about developing AI, but it's about deploying it where it matters the most, because developing AI is one side of the coin, but deploying it across our economy is the real challenge and the real opportunity. And at the same time, we must ensure that the regulatory framework supports innovation. As you know, we are undergoing simplification efforts on the AI Act, and the ambition is to provide clarity, reduce burden where possible, and create the right conditions for the deployment of AI, including AI-powered robotics. So in the whole strategy on AI, robotics plays a very central role. It's where AI can deliver tangible impact. It's where Europe can still build global leadership. This also builds on past initiatives that are very important, such as GenAI for EU, where we are now moving into implementation. For example, we are financing a major project of around 40 million euro, which starts this year to advance the application of generative AI to robotics. And to support this ambition, we are putting in place more demand-driven and deployment-focused approaches. For example, at the heart of our activity is the European Robotics Catalyst, which brings together developers, researchers, and users. And this means identifying high-impact use cases and building the pathway from research to deployment around these use cases. For that, we will make use of what we call acceleration pipelines in areas such as manufacturing, healthcare, agriculture. We want to connect research, testing, validation, and deployment into a continuous process. And we will support advancing the core capabilities of the robots, such as perception or manipulation and interaction, developing also foundation models for robotics, addressing the data challenges that are at the basis of these models. And we will facilitate the testing of technologies and of the robot skills, because without trust, there will be no adoption. So what is new is the instruments, but it is also the mindset. We want to move from fragmented initiatives coordinated at European level to something that is increasingly coordinated and increasingly European. And with the next multi-annual financial framework, we will go even further. Not only we want to support research and innovation, but also accelerating deployment and scale. And in fact, we have new instruments such as the European Competitiveness Fund. This is part of a broader vision, making Europe an AI continent where innovation thrives, companies can scale, AI can be deployed across all the sectors of the economy, including in a physical way. And robotics remains a key pillar of this vision, because AI and physical AI is a fundamental element for the future developments of AI in the European Union. We have the talent, we have the knowledge, we have the industry, we have the values, and now we just need to bring all these elements together to have a very clear impact. It is the time for scaling, for deployment, for impact, and we should not miss this opportunity. Thank you very much.
these were very, very strong words from Lucy. So, Stine, what is your take on it? What did you kind of understand from it, and what would you like to... Did you hear something that you miss, in this case, for your case, for Equinor?
No, it's time for scaling. I think this is really relevant. And I think from our side as well, we are starting to see that robotics are changing the way we work. We have started to implement, we have successful implementation, but really pushing for scaling is what we need next. So broad collaboration is key to succeed.
Yep. Thank you. Marte, the same question to you.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think we have an amazing opportunity now in the stark geopolitical picture that we have. There is also a great opportunity for Europe to really drive the change that we did not explore to the fullest 20, 30 years ago, so the last cycle of technologies. I really think we have to make it this time and to really scale up our competitiveness, but by this safety and trust driving that development.
Very good, thank you. And then Cécile, you are a little bit insider in this video, but please your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, with this community, we've been working for more than 20 years since we created the program. We've created the largest research and innovation program in the world, and we really increased the excellence. Now it's really time to create companies and bring that excellence to the market. So we have a number of actions, as Lucy presented as well, that really brings also a new end-user-driven approach so that the technology we create, we actually also create a market for the adoption, and with that also wide scale, the scaling is important. But the thing which has changed recently is really the transformative effect of AI that is now brought to robotics. And we always had cognitive system, always intelligent robot. It was always there, but this explosion that came in AI, software AI, is coming now to hardware and physical AI robotics.
Very good, thank you. So then let's move toward the harder questions. But first of all, I have one more video to show you, and it is from the STINE's department. And that video is the following.
Jeg Trond Eriksen, og jeg jobber I Equinor. Da jeg så heldig å få jobbe med undervannsteknologi. En ROV, det enkelt og greit en undervannsrobot som går ned og gjør arbeid under vann. Tyngre arbeid enn det dykkerne kan, og dypere. Noe nytt og spennende som vi holder på å utvikle, det droner, som da blir mer autonome og selvgående og residenter, som betyr at de under vann hele tiden. Og denne droneteknologien, der vi faktisk helt I verdenstoppen. Tradisjonelt sett så reiser vi ut med et relativt stort fartøy med ROV ombord og folk som opererer de. Med denne nye teknologien så kan vi la dronen være igjen og gjøre jobben uten at vi har et større fartøy som ligger over og bruker diesel og venter på at jobben skal bli gjort. Det bidrar jo til mindre fotavtrykk, mindre CO2-utslipp, mindre forurensning av sjø. Så vi prøver da å snu hver stein for å redusere utslipp.
So Stine,
Yes.
just a very short summary of the video. What would be the, because Lucy is sitting here and couldn't read the Norwegian, yeah.
It was texted in English. I apologize for the Norwegian language.
No worry.
But from a general sense, from an Equinor side, we foresee that AI and robotics will really transform the way that we work. We see a great value potential, we see a great aspect of different applications, and we see this as relevant, of course, across our value chains, across oil and gas, renewables, and low-carbon solutions. And we have three key drivers for implementing robotics. First of all, enhancing safety, removing people out of harm's way, more insight into technical integrity of our assets, supporting security, emergency preparedness, and so forth. Secondly, supporting our sustainability agenda, utilizing these as platform for environmental monitoring, leak detection, quantification of diffuse emissions. And finally, also, of course, cost savings, driving operational efficiency. And we have estimated that automizing just specific inspection and maintenance tasks has the potential to bring in over $100 million in savings every year. But of course, the scaling of these technologies, it's not straightforward. We rely not only on the technical maturity itself, but also the commercial readiness and the organizational readiness. And the two latter might be the most challenging. So we need to ensure that our contracts are set up to incentivize use of new technology, recognizing that a lot of the technologies will be scaled through our service providers, our suppliers. And on the organizational aspect, we need to drive change management. We need to ensure that we do not only implement the technology element itself, but that we actually change the way we work, because that is when we collect the cost. So in the end, it's a lot about our people and how our people interact with the technologies.
Very well. Marte, you have heard now the STINE's reflection on how Equinor's take on this industry deployment. But how can the Norwegian government use this year to turn the public procurement into first market for robotics and AI, using, for example, pre-commercial procurement or public procurement of innovative solutions?
It's a good question, and I would like to start that I think it's so great that finally the European Robotics Forum is in Stavanger, because there is no right or place where we, for 50 years in this city, has really transformed technology, and by solving, real people have solved real hard problems by and for the North Sea, and I think this example is a very good among that. As it comes for the European governments, Norway, the Norwegian government is the largest buyer. So for Norway's sake, we buy for 500 million billion kroners every year in innovative, also on inköp procurements. So that is not just a budget line, that is a market signal. And this is not something, the government's role in facilitating innovative procurement is nothing new. It has been it's been an institutionalized a toolbox for 10, 15 years. But the problem is scaling there as well. And I think now it's around 10%. The one example I would like, because you asked if can the government be a first market driver, and my answer is that they are. We are already, but we need to scale that toolbox. And I would like to have use just 1 minute for one example. In Restreams, which is Haukeland University Hospital, they put out a innovative procurement. Because 1 to 2 million instruments, they can't track it. So they had a problem, and instead of just buying a product off the rack, they ordered someone to solve that problem instead of buying something on the shelf. And I think that is, and then there was a small company, or two guys in Florø started a company where we're using robotics and AI to scan the DNA of these instruments. And this is now, that was in 2023, now they have scaled this to 3 procurements in Haukeland in the west coast, and also in Trondheim they have done 1 deal with this company, and I think that is a very, very perfect example of governments being a first market buyers already, but then we need to scale that. Now it's around 10% of the total amount of 500 billion, and from the government's sake we are trying to really boost that, and that in order to do that, that is about culture, because none of us had procurement at school as a subject, so it needs to drive a culture to change how with how the government is taking kind of calculated risk when we have the procurement processes.
Yes, thank you, Marte. And then we transit to CÉCILE. So where should scale-ups look first in 2026-27? Is it the AI factories? Is it the Gen AI calls? Or are there these other partnership calls? So what would you recommend for scale-ups?
It depends on the specifics and on the needs. For sure, the AI factories, which are access to HPC, high performance computer, for free to research and also to startup, are made now available for AI, and now that also robotics is embracing AI with more data, then it's also a tool which is offered, and the access conditions have completely changed to be really adapted to this kind new type of user of the HPC. Before it was mostly for a huge simulation, so completely different needs. Now it is adapted to that. But there are other things that we are doing in GenAI for You, as you were saying. Lucy also mentioned we will launch very soon 2 big projects for in total for 85 euros, and within that project they will develop foundation model for robotics, for manufacturing, and they will also within this project have a program that allows to bring smaller partners and startup and SMEs to contribute to this. So this, we want to have more agile way of bringing startup into this game because our program are typically too slow and so on, but we want to have more, let's say, SMEs and startup-friendly approach. And we will launch also very soon, big project. They must be industry-driven. The industry define, as you said as well, they define the challenge. What is the problem? And then they will call for competition where startup SMEs developing solution will come and compete. So we hope that it will create also an effect of ecosystem building, that you bring the developer together with the end user. And we hope this will also create a demand-driven and hopefully de-risk a bit the technology. Because yes, we need to scale, but we also need to validate the technology to create this level of trust. So we are trying to embed that in the program. And another support we have in the GenAI for You, we try to address all the different needs from talent, from access to finance. There are also from the EIC program, a project really targeting single startup that needs also access to finance in addition to grants. So there are a list of different things, and within the partnership, ADRA, the calls, then we shape the future. So this is also an invitation, and eRobotics is a funding association, so we work together to create the future as well.
Very good, thank you. Now you have heard Cécile's planning that where to go for the companies, but would, for example, EQUINOR work, this AI factories or any other the shared assets should have shortened your time to scale?
I think we actually have access to shared test facilities and own facilities, and we have a lot of collaborational setups in which we share knowledge and experience. So what has hindered sort of effective deployment so far is, first of all, as I alluded to, some technical aspect and robustness to build trust in operation, making sure it's fit for purpose. As an example, on our oil and gas facilities, we rely on them being ATEX certified, that they can operate in an explosive atmosphere. Secondly, the commercial aspect, the contracts they alluded to. We now have revised our contracts to ensure that we incentivize use of technology to push scaling. And also the organizational piece, which takes time. It's a stakeholder management marathon. You need to involve in all levels of the organization. You need to train our people. You need to ensure early end user involvement. You need to start small, make it beneficial, ensure that it's practical and used. So it's a lot of other things to actually succeed with the scaling.
Okay, Cécile. What change in the public procurement, or so it's in an EQUINOR class way? If you said that you already deploy or you already use this kind of shared test assets, so how would is it possible to create an EU-wide reference case like EQUINOR did it this way? How would you be able to kind of convince others to do it like this? Is it any kind of initiative that you would be able to facilitate?
It's actually, you heard Lucy talking about the catalyst. So this is a new initiative in the context of Apply AI. Apply AI is a communication that was published in October, and the goal is really to deploy the technology. How can we facilitate the deployment and also boost European technology, because we see the AI technology coming from abroad. But here, in these specific needs for our industry, we also want to protect their data, for instance. Therefore, we want to foster the deployment and the knowledge between the end user and the developer we have in Europe. So in the Catalyst, we really want to have an end user driven approach. So we want to really have in the driving seat the end users, and we are, if you are interested in that initiative, we build it with ADRA and also with Sprint, you know very well Sprint, and tomorrow morning we have a workshop on that, and we invite really end users to join forces and identify which are the common needs they have, and so that they can define these, we will prioritize them, and based on that, then we know what are the needs from the technology. Then we can say, okay, what kind of capabilities, skills the robot needs, and we will develop those skills, and we will have an independent body that will validate them. So we will build this trust, and instead of having each of, you're a big company, it might be easier for you, but many smaller players, they don't have the capacity to validate. So we need here to join forces, have this common testing run, and to validate the capability, the technological capability, the robustness of the project, the robots, so that then they can be deployed in a wider scale and create a wider market, so, and replicate those very nice use cases. That's also something we need to work more, replicate those success stories.
I see. And Marte, could Norway pilot this kind of validation use case? Do you think that this is possible for you, like a cross-border validation? Is it something that Norway would be happy to contribute, or yeah, to make sure that this happens?
Norway is a small market. Together with the Nordics, we are much stronger, so we need to work much closer with the Nordic both markets, and I think that might be a possibility. But just to lift the perspective a bit, because you have the United States, and then we don't have United States of Europe. I think we need to, there is some structural challenges there that doesn't, no policy will not kind of wish out those kind of structural differences that we need to work 5 times as hard to kind of overcome some of those language differences and differences of just different governments, national governments and borders. And that is why it's so important that the EU does what the EU does, and especially leveling the playing field for the small and medium-sized businesses. EQUINOR is EQUINOR. EQUINOR is, your guys are okay, in the sense that we are having a very close partnership, but you also have amazing muscles. It's a public-private company, so it also, by itself, it has a big power, in a sense. Yeah.
Very good. Yes. So now we have been discussing like scaling up pilot to production, but let's focus now on the regulations that enables. And then let me start with CÉCILE. So how can companies engage with the ADRA partnership to shape the future of the field? For example, implementation of the Apply AI, and what comes in the next calls? What are your takes on that?
So from the beginning, so we've been working with ADRA. So the Apply AI strategy is, we wanted to understand for each of the 10 prioritized sectors. Robotics is considered a sector. It's actually a technology that uses robotics and then can be applied to many other sectors. But the goal was really to talk to the end user, understand the challenge they have to adopt the technology, and then for each of them then derive a number of action. And this is how then this catalyst came up. And within the catalyst, we want to have this, what we call acceleration pipeline that Lucy mentioned. And the goal is to have those priority use cases which are common to several sectors, and then we can then pool the whole agenda from research to deployment, see already what can be deployed, already mature, but then drive the next generation of research where you don't have this ATEX ready to deploy thing. What needs still to be done to have explanation. You need something which is certified. How can we get that from an AI-driven thing? So these are the questions that will drive then the future of research. But we know that the research we are going to do will serve that purpose and will be able then to serve all the end users. So that's really this mindset we wanted to bring into Apply AI, and using ADRA because they are the link also between the developer and the end user, and they have this topic group like there are also in robotics, which allowed us to have this dialogue from the end user and translate that also to the language of the technology provider. And we want to have these testing facilities that actually has this benchmark, which are a technology benchmark, but translating the need of the end user as which kind of problem do I need to solve.
Very good, thank you. Marte, you have heard CÉCILE. So what is Norway's plan to keep public sector AI and robotics adoption secure and inclusive while staying interoperable with the EU AI Office approach?
I would like to start with the government's goal, which is not a goal in itself, but it's a method, and that is that 80% of the public sector should use AI in their problem solving within this year. And that is on the way to reach 100% in 2030. And this is not a technical or technology goal, it is a service goal. By that means, the public procurement in innovative partnerships must be scaled further, as I talked about in my beginning of my talk. And I think I read a story this morning. Is there anyone from the Norwegian Research Council here?
We should have Wakar.
Norwegian. They put out a new story yesterday with a new call, which is they get a lot of money from us, and then we are having some ambitions, and they put out a new call yesterday for across the public sector for innovative partnerships and non-commercial kind of pre-commercial partnership within a call for 15 million kroners across sector to get more of those stories from Restream in Haukeland to nudge more of those cases, because that is exactly what we want more of. And that is a very good example of that. And then also to touch on deregulation. I don't think deregulation is the answer, but smarter regulation is. Okay. And really also removing the double regulations that are. We're establishing AI Norway, which many of you might be familiar with. So we had the first roundtable with 60 people a lot of people from the academic world yesterday. And one person from the banking industry, she said something very interesting. She said, Martha, I would rather have a quick no than a slow maybe. With private government companies and the research meeting the government, I think that is such a precise prescription on stakeholder management and how the governments really need to change. But we need to change to work smarter and not harder, and not. My last point is that we need to also, I think the European governments need, if you're going to put the money where our mouth is, we also need to be less focused on the control mechanism that we are, that's one leg to stand on. But if we don't do public governance innovative by design as well, and only focus heavily on the control foot, I think that will hurt all other kind of initiatives if you don't really put our money where our mouth is, and really also rethink and redesign also public government to help nudge this direction.
Very well, thank you.
Oh.
It's not only the power of the speech you managed to kick out of the microphone, but also this is not that often happens. So, but
they are alive.
Well, yes, they are alive, and
that's good.
And this is what European Robotics Forum about. So this is a family. So this is not only a one-way communication. So they will come to you. Yes. So, but let's back to Stine. So. Yeah, we heard from Marte that you are a very independent organization, and you set the rules for yourself. What is in this rule setting what no regrets you have when you were kind of certifying your suppliers? What are those, what kind of criteria they have to meet that you think that you set because it was your own decision, of course, but that helped you to reach where you are today with robotics?
I would say not at all an independent company. So what principles are key when we are working with robotics is first and foremost, we want to utilize the external market as far as possible. So our focus is adapting the solution to our needs, ensuring that they are fit for purpose while utilizing the external momentum. Secondly, we want to drive standardization. It's important for us to be able to mix and match different solutions to meet our business needs, to enable future interoperability. And finally, broad collaboration, industry collaboration is vital to succeed with this. We need a common direction, we need common requirements across the industry, we need to create a common business pool to ensure that we stimulate a future market, and that is vital. So we have very strong collaboration across peers, industry partners, suppliers, service contracts, academia, authorities, and so forth. So that's vital for me to get across. And then when it comes to non-negotiables on our side, or key non-regret moves, of course, we never compromise on safety. So all new technology in general should improve safety aspects. It needs to be fit for purpose and robust. Secondly, meet our strict security, cybersecurity requirements. I touched upon the interoperability piece, so we need APIs to be able to integrate the different solutions effectively on our side, ease the transition for our people, have an effective scale fleet management. And finally, the robustness pieces is key to stress again, to get the trust. If we fail and do not have the robustness when we introduce the solutions, it will just be parked.
Very well, thank you. You have heard the panelists now for a while, so it's now time for you to ask a question. Is there a question in the audience? There is one hand up there. I have a mic here, but I hope you can shout loud enough.
I'll try. I'm maybe wrong. Thanks to all panel members for sharing their expert views with us. My question is actually to CÉCILE. We know the growing importance of employing intelligence in robotics. What is, and of course, in Europe, we follow ethics, we follow regulations. The question is, what is the European Commission's strategy to build Europe's sovereign capabilities in energy-efficient AI to drive sustainability, unlike some of our competitors? So how do we actually drive innovation in energy-efficient AI in a sustainable way compared to our competitors?
Yeah, this is not the only approach, it's one of them. For sure, sovereignty is essential, and we have to address all the different aspects. Energy efficiency is one, but robustness is definitely also as important as this one. But this is on the agenda, and you know that in our program, we also have supported green AI and AI for green. So it goes and it's going to continue. And also with the AI factories, it's something we will build and increase the power of compute, but at the core of their development is also energy efficiency. So this is on our agenda definitely, from the compute until the AI development, but we have also to find definitely efficient and robust technology. So we have to find the right compromise. Thanks, Penny.
Good. Unfortunately, we don't have time for further questions, but Cécile will be here. MARTE is also a little bit have a time, and I hope that STINE will also join us for the dinner tonight. So it will be time to also to meet the panelists later on. And then to close up, I will be just asking you very, very short ask and offers. So one ask to policymakers from STINE, and one offer to startups.
Ask for policy makers, ensure that the policy is future fit and adapted to sort of a future with enhanced level of autonomy. That's key. We have a good example with the remotely piloted drones, in which we collaborated very closely with the Aviation Authority to ensure that we had a flight corridor in which we could fly the drones together with normal helicopter traffic. and then offer to startups. We actually have the EQUINOR Startup Hub, which is set up to facilitate collaboration. So we have 2 focus areas within this. The first one being providing advisory and support through local startup communities, and also striving to drive both regional, national, and international collaboration. So this is very good for immature startups, providing access to incubators and advisory on business needs and so forth. And the second focus areas is our venture client model, which is excellent for more mature startups, in which we have real business needs that we need to be resolved. These are matched then with key startups, and then we offer sort of a structured and streamlined process for us to effectively pilot and then scale technologies.
Great. These are, we hope they will listen to it. Yeah, and then from MARTE, from your side, one policy action in the next 6 or 12 months to unlock scale.
I would say AI Norway, KI Norway. That's a lot. You can take that. We can have a conversation out in the lunch. But I'm just going to do one example, because the national data authorities, they made a sandbox where you could have GDPR law sandbox, so you can test. Before you go to market, you can test solutions in that sandbox together with the authorities. That is a very innovative, it's right in the center of what I spoke of balancing the legs, and we need to do much more of that. So the government is really delivering concrete guidance, and then the companies need to take responsibility for their actions, but we need to be much more kind of front and center authorities that really gives you a clear collaboration in real time. And that sandbox experiment is very interesting, and now it's, of course, you have the AI Act, where it's, that's another debate, but of course we have there's a sandbox which is obligatory, but I think that sandbox from the Norwegian data authorities, it's also very useful for the EU. We have 6 years of experience there, and this one, my last point. We must not forget the pandemic, because we saw what we really managed to do of change when we had to, when the public sector had to, when the private sector had to. We did amazing stuff. Things that would take years took weeks. And we need to get back more of that kind of mowing in Norwegian. We need to have more mowing. That is my final.
Very well. This is the second time, yeah. And then last, Cécile, so could you mention one EU program that founders or startups should not miss in 2026, and how to access it?
Actually, they're different. If you need compute AI factory, if you need testing experimentation facilities, if you need access to finance, EIC and the talent from the program, then those acceleration pipeline we're going to launch. But more importantly, if you want to drive with us the future, join us in this Catalyst initiative that will hopefully really accelerate the uptake of robotics in all these different sectors. So manufacturing is the one we start with, but then we need to build it for healthcare and for agri-food. So we need you. We have many things to offer, but we need you to make it happen together.
Thank you very much. That was it. It was the panel on innovation and scale-up. So thank you very much for joining for today. Thank you for our panelists, Stine, Marte, and Cécile. It was a pleasure discussing this topic with you. And see you later at the exhibition hall or around here at European Robotics Forum. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.